The warning came through every channel in the galactic network. Every species, from the crystalline Xanathi to the gaseous nebulans, knew the rule. Avoid the third planet in System Sol 9. The inhabitants called it Earth, but to the rest of the galaxy, it was simply the Forbidden World. Santa Claus stood in the observation deck of his modified sleigh, now equipped with quantum drive engines and a dimensional storage unit that made his old sack of toys look like a child's backpack. His beard, white as cosmic dust, floated gently in the zero gravity as he studied the blue-green sphere below. "Sir, with all due respect, this is madness," said Jinglix, his chief elf engineer, whose pointed ears now bore cybernetic enhancements for deep space communication. "The Galactic Council has classified Earth as a Level 7 hazard zone. No one who enters their atmosphere has ever returned." Santa's eyes twinkled with the same determination that had driven him to deliver toys for over 1,000 years. "Every child deserves joy on Christmas, Jinglix, even the children of the Forbidden World." The stories about Earth were legendary. The Chromath Empire had sent their finest warriors there 3 centuries ago. The humans had not only defeated them, but somehow convinced half the invasion force to stay and open restaurants. The Void Dancers, beings of pure energy, had attempted to harvest Earth's electrical grid. They were last seen teaching physics at something called MIT, apparently by choice. "The humans have a saying," Santa said, adjusting his red suit now lined with adaptive nanofabric. "It's better to ask forgiveness than permission. Besides, what's the worst that could happen? I'm bringing them toys, not declaring war." His crew exchanged nervous glances. The worst that could happen was well documented. The Synthesis Collective had tried to assimilate humanity into their hive mind. Instead, humans had somehow reverse-engineered the process, and now the collective drones spent their time arguing about something called pineapple on pizza. The mighty Xerxan Confederacy had attempted economic domination through advanced technology. Within a month, humans were selling improved versions of Xerxan tech back to them at markup prices, having somehow figured out how to jailbreak quantum processors using rubber bands and determination. But Santa had made up his mind. He activated the quantum drive, and reality folded around the sleigh like wrapping paper. The journey through hyperspace took nanoseconds, but the approach to Earth would require careful navigation through the debris field of abandoned invasion fleets that orbited the planet like a metallic graveyard. Detecting multiple signatures warned Blitzen 7, the AI consciousness that had merged with his lead reindeer. "Earth defense systems are, sir, they're sending us a message." On the main screen appeared a human face, wearing what appeared to be a festive sweater covered in blinking lights. The human spoke in perfectly translated galactic standard, which was impossible since humans weren't supposed to have that technology. "Unidentified sleigh, you are entering restricted airspace. Please state your—" "Wait, is that Santa Claus? The Santa Claus? Oh man, the kids are gonna flip. Please proceed to coordinates we're sending now. We've got milk and cookies waiting." Santa blinked in surprise. "They know who I am." "Sir," Jinglix said, scanning the data streams, "I'm detecting massive information networks across the planet. They appear to have stories about you. Millions of them. You're already in their cultural database." This was unprecedented. Every other world Santa visited had to be carefully introduced to the concept of gift-giving. But humans had somehow already integrated him into their mythology without ever meeting him. As the sleigh descended through Earth's atmosphere, using specially designed heat shields that could withstand re-entry at speeds that would make physics textbooks cry, Santa noticed something odd. The defense systems that had destroyed countless invasion fleets weren't firing. Instead, they seemed to be escorting him. "Welcome to Earth, Santa," crackled a new voice over the comm. "This is NORAD. We've been tracking you we've been pretending to track you for decades. It's kind of tradition. We're clearing flight paths over major population centers. Just watch out for the commercial airlines. They don't have your maneuverability." The sleigh broke through the cloud layer, and Santa gasped. Below him sprawled cities that defied galactic architectural norms. Where most species built in harmony with their environment or in defiance of it, humans had done both simultaneously. Skyscrapers twisted into impossible shapes next to parks where children played, while underground networks carried millions of inhabitants at speeds that should have turned them into paste. "Sir, I'm reading massive energy signatures," reported Rudolph 9, another AI-enhanced reindeer. They're putting up lights? Billions of lights, all synchronized to, is that music? It was. The entire eastern seaboard of the North American continent had apparently coordinated their Christmas decorations to blink in time to what the translator identified as jingle bells. The sheer computational power required for such synchronization would have burned out most species' planetary networks. Santa guided his sleigh toward the first set of coordinates, a massive building the humans called a mall. As he landed on the roof, he discovered humans had somehow built a landing pad specifically designed for his sleigh's dimensions, complete with what appear to be charging stations for his quantum drive. "How do they know our specifications?" Jinglix whispered. A group of humans emerged from a rooftop access door, led by a woman in a business suit who radiated the kind of authority that would make a Dominion warlord step aside. "Mr. Claus, I'm Director Martinez from the Department of Extraterrestrial Gift Distribution. We've been expecting you for about 60 years. We've taken the liberty of organizing the children by time zone, age group, and belief system. We've also prepared a list of who's been naughty and nice, cross-referenced with socioeconomic data to ensure equitable distribution. Would you like to review our spreadsheets?" Santa's jaw dropped. "You bureaucratize Christmas?" "Oh no," Director Martinez laughed. "We streamlined it. We figured if you ever showed up, you'd need help covering 7 billion people in one night. We've got distribution centers set up, volunteer networks ready to assist, and we've even got some physicists who think they can help optimize your time dilation field to give you more hours." This was beyond anything Santa had encountered. Most species struggled with the concept of selfless giving. The hive queens of Zeta Reticuli had taken 3 centuries to understand why someone would give presents without expecting genetic material in return. But humans had not only understood it, they prepared infrastructure for it. "There is one thing," Director Martinez added, her expression becoming serious. "We know why other species avoid Earth. We know we're classified as dangerous. But it's not because we're violent or aggressive. It's because we're adaptive. We take the best of what we encounter and make it ours. Your gift-giving tradition? We've been practicing it among ourselves, hoping you'd notice. We've been preparing for this moment since we first detected your quantum signature passing through nearby systems." Santa felt a warmth in his chest that had nothing to do with his heated suit. "You learn about Christmas just from detecting my energy signature." "We're humans," she shrugged. "We see something beautiful in the universe, and we can't help but try to be part of it. Now, shall we get started? We've got a lot of children waiting, and I believe you have a schedule to keep." As Santa began unloading his dimensional storage unit, he realized the warnings about Earth had been both completely wrong and absolutely right. Humans weren't dangerous because they were hostile. They were dangerous because they could take any concept, any tradition, any technology, and somehow make it exponentially more effective. They had taken his simple idea of bringing joy to children and turned it into a global celebration that generated more happiness energy than the euphoria engines of the Paradise Worlds. The first stop was a children's hospital, where Santa expected to find sadness and suffering. Instead, he found walls covered in drawings of his sleigh, children who greeted him by name in dozens of languages he didn't know they knew he spoke, and doctors who had somehow reverse-engineered his healing peppermints from theoretical models. "We hope you don't mind," said Dr. Kim, the head pediatrician. "We noticed the quantum signature of your candies in the Andromeda incident reports. We've been synthesizing similar compounds. They're not as effective as yours, but they've helped. Would you mind checking our formula?" Santa examined their work, astounded. They had come remarkably close to replicating nth-dimensional sugar crystallization using only terrestrial equipment and what appeared to be duct tape in several crucial joints. With a few adjustments, their synthesis would be nearly as effective as his originals. "This is remarkable," Santa admitted. "Most species take millennia to understand this process. We're motivated Dr. Kim said simply, "When it comes to helping our children, we tend to overachieve." The night progressed in ways Santa never expected. Instead of sneaking down chimneys, he found humans had installed standardized Santa ports on their roofs. Instead of leaving out simple cookies, families had researched optimal nutrition for quantum-traveling entities and left precisely calibrated energy snacks. One family had even left out a technical manual for their home security system with a note: "We disabled it for tonight, but thought you might enjoy seeing how we adapted Zorkian shield technology for home use." But it wasn't the technology that astounded Santa most. It was the spirit. Everywhere he went, he found humans not just receiving, but giving. Children had left gifts for him. Adults had organized community toy drives that supplemented his own supplies, and entire neighborhoods had coordinated to ensure no child was forgotten. They had taken his mission and made it their own. In Tokyo, he discovered humans had built massive mech dressed as reindeer to help distribute gifts to high-rise apartments. In London, they'd organized a temporal study group that was close to cracking control time loops, just in case you need extra hours next year. In New York, street artists had created holographic displays that showed children around the world receiving gifts, turning the entire city into a celebration of global joy. "Don't you understand?" said a small girl named Maria in Mexico City, when Santa expressed his amazement. "You showed the galaxy that giving is better than taking. We just want to prove we learned the lesson." As the night wore on, Santa's respect for humanity grew. They weren't perfect. He found plenty of names on the naughty list: politicians who lied, corporations that polluted, individuals who hurt others. But for every act of darkness, he found 1,000 points of light. Humans who dedicated their lives to helping others, who faced impossible odds with determination, who looked at the vast, hostile universe and decided their response would be to spread joy. The most shocking discovery came in a small town in Middle America, where Santa found a group of what his sensors identified as former Chromath warriors. They were dressed in festive sweaters, serving hot chocolate at a community center. "Great Santa," growled their leader, his 4 arms wrapped in tinsel. "We came to conquer." But the humans, they did something worse than defeat us. They convinced us their way was more fun. Do you know how frustrating it is to realize you'd rather bake cookies than blast planets? My warrior ancestors would be appalled. But these snickerdoodles are worth the shame. Santa chuckled. "And you're happy?" The Chromatha's mandibles clicked in what passed for a smile. "We thought strength was measured in weapons and ships. Humans showed us it's measured in how many people you can make smile. We never stood a chance." As dawn approached, Santa found himself back at the North Pole, his dimensional storage nearly empty and his heart fuller than it had been in centuries. His crew looked exhausted but exhilarated. "Sir," Jinglik said, reviewing the data, "we distributed over 2 billion gifts, but the humans, they distributed another 5 billion on their own. They didn't need us. They just wanted to share the experience with us." Santa stroked his beard thoughtfully. The Galactic Council had been right to warn others away from Earth. Humans were indeed dangerous. They took the best parts of every culture they encountered and amplified them. They faced the darkness of space not with fear, but with string lights and hot chocolate. They met potential conquerors not with weapons, but with invitations to join their celebrations. "Shall we warn the Council?" asked Blitzen 7. "Tell them the humans are more dangerous than they imagined?" "No," Santa decided. "Let them keep their warnings. Let Earth remain the forbidden world. But we'll return next year and the year after that. Because the humans have something the galaxy needs, even if it's not ready for it yet." "What's that, sir?" Santa smiled, looking at the blue marble that had given him the most remarkable Christmas in his millennia-long career. "Hope. Pure, untamed, impossible hope. They look at the universe with all its dangers and darkness, and their first instinct is to put lights on it and invite everyone to dinner. That's not a weakness. That's the most powerful force in existence." As his sleigh lifted off for the journey home, Santa received one last transmission from Earth. It was Director Martinez. "Thank you for taking a chance on us, Santa. We know our reputation. We know what the galaxy thinks. But We also know that sometimes the best way to change minds is not through force or technology, but through joy. You taught us that. We're just trying to pass it on. See you next year. Count on it, Santa replied, his voice thick with emotion. As the quantum drive engaged and Earth faded into the distance, Santa realized the warnings had been both right and wrong. Earth was dangerous. It was dangerous to cynicism, to isolation, to the idea that species couldn't change or grow. It was dangerous to anyone who believed strength came only from weapons or technology rather than from the bonds between beings. The humans had weaponized joy, industrialized hope, and turned kindness into a force that could reshape civilizations. They had looked at his simple tradition of gift-giving and transformed it into something that could unite a world. And now, they were ready to share it with the galaxy, whether the galaxy was ready or not. Sir, Jinglix asked as they entered hyperspace. What do we tell the others? About Earth? Santa's eyes twinkled. We tell them the truth. That Earth is exactly as dangerous as they feared. That humans will take everything you hold dear and make it bigger, brighter, and shared with everyone. That they'll face down empires with nothing but determination and fruitcake. That they'll turn your conquerors into pastry chefs and your overlords into kindergarten teachers. He paused, looking back towards Sol System. And we tell them that maybe, just maybe, that's exactly the kind of dangerous the galaxy needs. Because humans don't conquer worlds. They invite them to the party. And trust me, after tonight, it's one party you don't want to miss. As the sleigh disappeared into the cosmic void, Earth continued its rotation, carrying billions of humans who had just shared in something magical. Children clutched new toys, adults smiled at successful surprises, and somewhere in a community center, a Chromoth warrior perfected his gingerbread recipe. The warnings would continue. Ships would still avoid Earth. The Forbidden World would maintain its fearsome reputation. But now, once a year, a jolly figure in red would brave the journey, bringing gifts and taking back something far more valuable. Proof that in a universe full of darkness, a single world had chosen to shine so brightly that even the stars took notice. And maybe, just maybe, that light would spread. One gift, one smile, one impossible hope at a time. Because humans had learned the most dangerous secret in the universe. That joy, freely given, was the only force that no empire could stand against, no technology could defend from, and no species could resist. The Forbidden World had earned its title. It was forbidden because once you experienced it, you could never go back to the way things were. You'd always carry a piece of Earth with you, a fragment of their impossible optimism, their relentless cheer, their adamant belief that the universe could be better if everyone just tried a little harder to make each other smile. Santa Claus had gone to the planet everyone warned him about, and he would return again and again because he had discovered the truth. Earth wasn't a world to be avoided. It was a world to be celebrated. And the humans, in their uniquely human way, had been waiting all along to share that celebration with anyone brave enough to accept their invitation. The galaxy would never be the same, and that, Santa thought as he headed home to prepare for next year, was the best gift of all.